Hi, my name is Melanie. Welcome to A Steadfast Mind. Wwjd. What would Jesus do? Anyone who grew up in the 90s might remember this trend. Wwjd was on those little rubber bracelets, woven bracelets, and keychains. It was a neat sentiment. People were reminded to carefully monitor their actions and consider how Jesus would approach a situation. What would Jesus do? The thing that got me about this trend was just that. It was a trend. I don't know how many people took it seriously or really took the time to ask what Jesus would do. Did they ask themselves to consider what he would do? Or did they ask Jesus directly? I honestly don't know if this did make people act more kindly toward each other or to be more giving, more generous. Maybe someone did a study. But I'm curious, in what circumstances were people asking what Jesus would do? If you were arguing with someone? If you were cut off by someone on the highway? If you saw a person begging for money? If you were betrayed by a good friend or a family member? If you hear people gossiping about a person you know? There are dozens of circumstances that happen in a single day. I just want to know how many people actually stop to ask themselves if their actions lined up with Jesus's. But if you really want to know what Jesus would do, look no further than John chapter 5, verse 19. Then Jesus answered and said to them, "Most assuredly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do. For whatever he does, the Son also does in like manner." In other words, while we were busy asking what would Jesus do, he was asking, "Father, what would you have me do?" He flat out says, "I can't do anything myself." His will lines up with God's will. Even just before he was crucified, Jesus was seeking to do the will of the Father. In Luke 22:42, he says, "Not my will, but yours be done." If we truly want to know what Jesus would do, then we have to ask our Father, "What would you have me do?" What is it that God wants from us? What is his will for our lives, and how does he want us to act in every situation? You may still ask, "What would Jesus do?" But his answer will always be, "Whatever my Father would have me do." And the way you can be sure that your will lines up with his will is to know his word. Go to church and gather seeds to plant on the good soil of your heart. Read the Bible. Read verses like Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 through 39. Jesus said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Read Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. Just know, those chapters are not for the faint of heart. The next time you find yourself in a situation where you're asking, "What would Jesus do?" take a moment to breathe and then ask, "Father, what would you have me do?" He will answer you. What would you have me do? What would you have me do? What would you have me do? Make sure you take the time to listen in your spirit for his answer. Thank you for stopping by, and God bless you.